before kulikuwa na age, hakuna vile mtu angeingia tu shule kama hajafikia age ya kwenda shule. That's why alikuwa akifika shule anaweka kwa ile ilikuwa inaitwa baby class.
Ina shida hivyo, si seme umeona mtoto ako na miaka like 11 na unamkataza asiingie class 8, baby wewe unataka miaka 12.
Okay, sawa. That one, yeah.
Sawa, asante.
Ama maybe ungesema mtu ako na disability, maybe ako kama 15 years na anamleta grade 3, huwezi mkataa.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Alongside that one,
nilifunga tena ingine sijui mzazi mwenye mtoto wake amenyimwa admission anaweza kureport kwa DO or what of education. Is it another point?
Any learner whether ako na disability ama ana disability na go within Kenya, hata kama sio Mkenya, they are not supposed to be denied access to education.
Lakini sasa tuna measure those with disabilities ndio.
Yeah, so hata kama no admission should be denied to any learner mwenye ako na disability, whether in private or public, provided not unless kama ni private na hakuna vacancies, then inaeleweka. Kama hakuna, tuseme kwa mfano ni mtoto ako na disability kama ile ya anataka sign language interpreter ama braille na wana specialist, wanajua wanaweza simamia kwa kitu kama hiyo kunini kukataa.
So now if we are talking about admission, remember Kenya is one of the signatories to the United Nations whatever policies for education that Nini talks about education for all, or that recommends education for all. So no any other of learner, as long as a Kenya, should be denied access to education. All learners are supposed to go to school. Amujaona washosho wakiingia class. Hello?
Yes, wamekuwa admitted.
So na hata hao wenye tunasema hakuna interpreter, hakuna nini. Sahi all schools in Kenya are supposed to be inclusive. They are supposed to embrace the inclusive education policy. So in a case where we are not having, they are supposed to be referred to a specific place where they are going to get help. That's why you find certain primary schools, some are they are normal. They are meant for normal learners, but you will hear that it should be integrate. It should integrate maybe the VI persons. It should integrate autistic learners, meaning that all schools in Kenya are to embrace inclusive education policy. So kama hawana hapa na mtoto ameletwa hapa, maybe this is a regular school embracing learners with the HI issue, na kumekujwa na autistic, ataambiwa peleka shule fulani, lakini afukuzwi.
All right. So remember, Rosaida had seen your hand. Rosaida. Rosaida. All right. Remember that even giving children, especially in the public, even in private, giving children interviews so that when they do not pass it, you deny them admission is not allowed. And this one, teachers, you should get very clear, because remember, there is a clause in the law of the country that ignorance has no defense. Many people have gone behind the bus because of the ignorance. If you give the interview, it is good to gauge how the learner is before you take the learner, but you should not use it as a parameter to deny the learner admission to that institution. When you use that, You'll get enlightened parents who will take you somewhere, and you will realize that it was very simple, but getting out of it becomes too difficult and too expensive. Let's look at
Mr. Pascal.
Yes.
Mr. Pascal, wazazi nao wanasumbua because anatoa mtoto private kwenye ameshindwa kulipa school fees, analeta regular school ama public. Anasema kwa ajili anaona level ya private to them ni higher than the public. Utaambiwa huyu mtoto alikuwa class 2, yet mtoto amesoma tu class 1. Anataka kurukisha mtoto aende hata class 3 na hajasoma class 2. So when we use test, inaitwa entry point test, entry behavior tests. It's just to gauge where the learner is. Na ukiwarudishanga nyuma, hapo ndio wanarudi kusema ni wajuaji ati watoto are not supposed to repeat. But we are only doing them we are doing such to help them place the learner at the correct place.
Akifuma.
Yes.
You wanted to say something.
Is that risk for who?
That was Josephine.
Now, Josephine, when it comes to admitting learners in schools, sometimes it poses a challenge to the teachers in charge. So you have to be very keen because, you know, if you don't have any proof that learner was in grade 1, then against a challenge to you. And that's why right now, when you want to transfer any learner from one school to another, it has to go through the process of up to the county, the sub-county director, let's say sub-county director to the county director before you transfer that learner. And that's why all the
Mr.
learners...
Akifuma.
Yes, sir.
Is that applicable really?
That is only when that is only when a child had done grade 3 onwards.
Wacha nimalize my explanation.
Okay.
You know, right now, wanafunzi wote Kenya wanza anaadmitiwa kwa shule, anafaa akuwe registered, akuwe na what do we call it? Name is number.
Yes.
Now, akiwa na name is number,
assessment number,
anakuwa registered. So any process ya transfer intakana ipitie hiyo process yote ya sub county to the county, but tumekuja kurealize wakati tunaanza kutransfer watoto wa grade 3 na grade 6, but in really sense it should be all the learners transferring. And now back to Josephine, when you don't have any proof that this learner was in grade 2, don't dare take that learner back. Mzazi akupeleka na kotini, you won't like it. You won't like it. Kenyans are very tricky to handle them, and all Kenyans ni werevu kuliko katiba yao.
Yeah, when it comes to, remember, we are talking about 100% transition, including for Kamau. And especially when a child repeats in the name that the teacher has said, Kenyans know, you know, we are law-abiding country, and the people today have come to terms with what is expected to be done. And this is why, remember, there are some years when the teacher was Mr. I know all, and the teacher will take everything. But today things have changed. Today, as we speak, things have changed. They are not like they used to be. And as a teacher, you can find yourself soiled up by a parent. And should it be defined from the ignorancy aspect? You know what the law states. There will not be any leniency, because that is a life of an individual that is considered to have been played with. And the Ministry of Education is very clear. 100% transition, yes.
Pascal, hata kama na transition, you know, we are teachers, and in schools, there are so many things that teachers have never known. Hakuna sheria inasema ati mwanafunzi lazima anyoe ama asuke nywele. So sometimes when you're handling learners according to the hairstyle, again, it's also a challenge.
Yes.
There was a girl who was supposed to be admitted akiwa na kilemba hii ya nini ya wakorino.
Ndio hiyo.
Ilileta shida sana. There's another one who was supposed to be admitted akiwa na dreads. And the principal was like, you cannot be admitted here akiwa na dreads. The parent went to the court na ilibidi mtoto admitiwe akiwa na dreads zake kwa kichwa. Because there's no any specific law that describes this hairstyle, and even there is no law yenye inalazimisha ati kila mwanafunzi lazima akuwe kwa uniform. Some learners can just come to school with their home clothes.
Especially Akifuma. Especially the dropouts who are now given a leeway of coming back to get formal education.
Yes.
Right. Yes, and also especially under the dropouts, we are having the child mothers whom they may be having children. So the education system is able to accommodate them in the afternoon programs. They only come for maybe 2 to 3 hours and then they go back home. So you can't force them again to have the uniforms. In fact, they will leave for you the school, they will never come back. So we have differentiate between the following set of concepts: specialized curriculum and specialist curriculum. Somebody? Yes, James.
Specialized curriculum is curriculum that has been modified or adapted to suit learners with special needs or specific needs, whereas specialist curriculum is a different curriculum taught by, or rather undertaken by a specialist, mainly to support the main curriculum. I think so. For example, when a speech therapist is training a child, that is a special curriculum, a specialist curriculum, which is now meant to support the main curriculum.
All right, thank you very much. Someone else on the two terms? If there is no one, let's move to the second one. Curriculum compacting and curriculum acceleration. Yes, what is curriculum compacting? That we want us to differentiate it from curriculum acceleration. Yes, 0788.
Curriculum compacting, these are similarities that exist between programs in various schools on the same level of learning, e.g. the recent CBC project, that is curriculum compacting. Then curriculum acceleration means a program to be covered by learners is accomplished within a duration of time. I'm done.
Right, thank you very much. So when we talk about compacting, making the curriculums to be similar across the country. We talk about the CBC curriculum, it is the same across the country. We talk about the 844, that is the primary syllabus, the secondary syllabus, they are similar across the country. We talk about acceleration, I will say it is a program that allows the learners to cover some classes or some levels within the shortest time possible. For example, we say that like a learner covering 2 classes in 1 year. 2 classes in 1 year, that now becomes acceleration, and especially in the case of the gifted and talented. Let's carry on. Explain the role of occupational therapists in the learning process. So we first of all, we have to know who is an occupational therapist. Who is this occupational therapist? Yes, who is an occupational therapist? Yes. Who is an occupational therapist? Somebody, there is silence. Who is an occupational therapist?
The paramedical staff who is trained in art and science of directing a person in selected tasks in order to restore, reinforce, enhance performance in activities of daily living.
Mary, si usome kwa sauti sasa tusikie.
Yes.
Sasa tusome kwa sauti. Mary Gatanga.
Okay. An occupation. Yes. An occupational therapist is a paramedic staff who is trained in art and science of directing a person in selected tasks in order to restore, reinforce, and enhance performance in the activities of daily living.
Mere, rudia, mere.
Yes.
Mere, si urudie.
What?
Mary, repeat, Mary.
Let her type, Pascal.
Okay, okay. Mary, you can type it in the, yes, Vinlanda. Vinlanda.
Just to repeat what Mary was saying or what Mary was answering, that is regarding occupational therapist. He or she is a paramedical staff who is trained in the art of science of directing a person's participation in selected tasks. That's in order to restore, reinforce, and also enhance performance.
Yes, so the responsibility of, okay, Marion, your hand is up, Marion.
Finish first. It's just a question. Finish first your statement.
The responsibility of occupational therapists is to remember we are talking about a person who was functioning well, and then along the way they become disabled. So in order to restore or to enhance the functional ability, we need the professional known as the occupational therapist. Yes, Marion.
Okay, my question is concerning the statement that you've given according to occupational therapist. I have a hyperactive in my class, at the same time I have a speech problem. Then the father told me ameambiwa enda one speech therapy na occupational therapy. Sasa nashangaa zina relate aje? Just for help.
Okay, somebody.
Kuna hyperactive child kwa darasa. Ati kuna hyperactive child kwa class. At the same time,
Hiyo ni
huyo mtoto
Mwakenya anatumia.
akona speech problem. Naelewa. Mtu ni hyper lakini bado hajui kuongea. Sasa anauliza afanye aje.
Thank you very much Vinlanda. Sasa mtusaidie.
Ndio alikuwa anauliza.
Vinlanda, sasa mtusaidie. Umesikia huku?
Wameenda kwa mkutano.
So who is going to help us?
Sorry, Mr. Pascal. I was also thinking about the same.
All right. Who is going to help us? The teacher has said, that is Teacher Marion, has said that she has a learner who is hyperactive, and the parent was advised to go and see occupational therapist and the speech therapist. Marion, did you say that the child also has a problem with speech?
Yeah, she has a problem with speech.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the child has a problem with the speech, and the child was also, the parent was advised to see the two professionals, occupational therapist and speech therapist. Maybe I just get back to Marion. Yes,
Pascal.
Yes.
Just let me ask Marion, was that advice from or was that referral from Kise or
Yeah, wao wanakuja Kise.
Yes.
So mi akili yangu, I think the group discussion anisaidia cause mmeongelea kuhusu occupational therapist. Na mmesema ni mtu mwenye anasaidia.
Now, speech therapist. Speech therapist atasaidia kurestore na ku-advise on how to restore or develop the speech in that learner.
Sasa occupational.
Yes, tumeona na I don't know occupational kama na deal tu maybe na fine motor na motor skills, but I also believe kama kazi ya occupational ni ku restore the lost maybe functionality, then maybe there is a way anaweza saidia in advising on what to be done.
Sasa atasaidia kwa hiyo speech ama atasaidia kwa mind?
Marion.
Yes.
Remember that you have said the parent was advised to see two people. So remember that the speech therapist is or her role is just to make sure that the child is able to articulate the words the way they are supposed to.
Okay.
And that means that you will take the child through some therapy. Actually, it is a therapy. Right now, we have a learner who was taken through some therapy. Na akiona the merry-go-round, wenzake wakizunguka hapo anatoroka because of, you know, that experience. So the speech therapist will only take the learner through the therapy to make sure that the learner is at least able to articulate. I'm looking for the best term on what is going to do, but it is escaping my thought. But now, the occupational therapist is now going to enhance, is going to reinforce, is going to restore. I wanted to ask you a question. If the learner is, when you look at the learner, you have said the learner is hyperactive. Is there any problem in terms of the body physique? Maybe when the child is walking, when the child is playing, is there any dysfunctionality somewhere?
Pascal.
Yes.
But an occupational therapy also deals with the emotions.
Pascal.
Amos.
Before, okay, to her.
Amos, respond, and then there is who is this? MA. You will respond after Amos, please. Yes, Amos.
To her, is that hyperactivity affecting the activities of daily living? For example, is this child able to maybe to button a clothes, maybe to feed appropriately? I think there must be a reason why aliambiwa aone occupational therapist because of the behavior the child is portraying. Maybe anaweza uliza more about venye huo mzazi aliambiwa.
Or maybe kama ni kwa behavior hiyo na if occupational therapy anadeal pia na behavior, because the behavior of the girl si ile pia nzuri na tulia. So maybe kama kazi ya occupational ni hiyo, then it is okay. Hapo nimeelewa sasa.
Anaweza correct something on daily living.
You see, that girl is hyperactive, isn't it?
Yes.
And then the parent was advised to see the OT. Now the OT will analyze, will see this girl, see what will keep this girl busy when she's hyperactive, engage this girl with some activities. Maybe that's the reason as to why it was referred to occupational therapy. The occupational therapy will have to analyze this girl, see what this girl is doing, what she will love to do. Like you said, when she goes to where they're jumping, how do you call that thing? Where the other girls are jumping, maybe they are swinging, something like that to keep that girl busy. And when you talk of the speech therapist, you've talked of that girl, she doesn't have speech. That's where now the speech therapists come in.
Thank you. Understood.
Thank you very much, Mwalimu, for being present also.
I was hiding. I didn't want to be noticed.
But it is good. It is good. We have now known that you are also keen.
Thank you very much. Let's look at the other question. Oh, now we have not. Did we finish? We did not finish on the role of occupational therapists. Now, can we now explain the role of the occupational therapist? Because what we have explained was in connection with Marion's question. But now explain the role of occupational therapists in the learning process.
Pascal, could we say he or she adapts the writing materials on behalf of this child who has the poor grasping ability?
That is yes. I've heard you.
Okay.
Sasa huyo nani sasa? Kureti, are you the one? Yeah, so you may adapt the writing materials for these learners. Yes, Mr. Felix, your hand is still up.
Sorry.
Okay.
I forgot to remove it.
Thank you.
But
Thank
I'll
you.
again respond. Let them respond. I'll again respond to your questions you've asked.
Okay, thank you. Yes, 0788, or if the hand has been lowered. Marion, your hand is still up. Mary Gatanga.
Okay, an occupational therapist also plays a role in programming and developing instructions which help the children to exercise and practice the activities of daily living.
The ADL comes in. They also help them to practice the ADL. 0788.
We can also say the occupational therapist also assist in the growth, or the assist in the facilitating the, what do you call them, the growth and fine motor skills after the therapy.
The growth,
so it's improved.
It improves the growth and the fine motor skills after the therapy. Correct?
Maybe can also help this learner with mobility problems. Maybe those using wheelchair, he can train them to get in and out of their wheelchairs.
In and out of the wheelchair as part, especially during the exercise aspect. Amos.
They help them in correcting posture.
Correcting the body posture. You realize that those who have the disabilities may be having a unique body posture, especially when they are walking. So it is part of the work of the occupational therapist to make sure that he corrects the body posture of such individuals. Yes, Mr. Felix.
In special schools, for instance, the PH schools, like Joytown School for the PH, we have these OTs. They are employed there full time. Now, these OTs, they're the ones who schedules when these learners are going to be done what? To be attended to. They keep records for these learners, and by so doing, you get that this learner improves where the area in which this learner has an impairment. Also, these OTs, they're the ones which advises and suggests the right or the suggested equipment to use in class. For instance, I heard one of you saying that the pencil, what? There is this, when maybe this learner is not able to grab or to kushika kalamu vizuri, anatengeneza something inakuwa ni kubwa kuliko yenye inaweza saidia this learner to do what? To hold, we call the pencil holder, to hold the pencil well, so that he can write. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think that question has got enough responses. Allow me get to question
Pascal?
2. Yes, James.
Okay.
Oh, Amos, sorry, not James, Amos.
This occupational therapist can also help a learner to about their bowels, to control their bowels.
How, for example?
For example, there is this kit that these learners are being given. For example, if the learner is on a diaper or kuna hii ya kuurinate ambayo inafixiwa. So you will keep a program where after a certain time, for example, 1 hour, the child urinates. So it keeps on improving until the child is able to control the bowel until he goes to the toilet. in a process called continuous dissemination. I don't know the correct term to use it, but they can help to do so.
Pascal.
Yes.
What if I say that they can also assist? What if I say they can also assist or help learners to develop or restore lost abilities? Let us say maybe due to stroke.
Yes, very true.
That's their major role. Actually, that's their major role.
Yes.
That's what they do. Those exercises that they do, that is what is going to, that's the end result. By so doing those exercises, they're going to restore or they're going to improve.
Very true. We may not get to do question number 2 because it is already 9:31. And
question 2.
Yes.
Question 2, Pascal. You know, we also chasing
Pascal tuachie hapo. Let's follow the time. Pascal. Pascal.
Yes.
Elections ni tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8. Hakuna vile itasongeshwa mbele juu ya mtu ama maybe presidential aspirant akiwa mgonjwa ati sasa inasongeshwa mbele. Ni hiyo tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8. So when we talk about 8:30, let it be 8:30. Knec pia itakuwa tarehe 4 Julai. Hakuna vile inaweza rudishwa nyuma saizi ama isongeshwe mbele and the timetable is out. Na hakuna COVID. Let's follow the timetable, please.
We can also go as per the majority what they are suggesting. If we can do question 2A, we can also do it. Because some of us, we also don't have time. We also need to use
the majority. Are you the majority?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Are you the majority?
Let us listen to what they are saying. Majority should type in the chat box so that we can know how many are suggesting we do question 2A and B. Then we go and sleep.
Mr. Ogada, acha tumalizia na question 2 alafu tulale please.
Sawa, nimesikia. Akifuma alikuwa nataka sawa.
Okay. Let's look at that question, please. And let us also exercise what we have just talked about, which is called academic tolerance. And there is no emergency, there is no crisis. If we look at the question, or if we don't, there is no crisis. But now, because you have said we are looking at it, let's look at it. Explain 5 measures taken by the Kenyan government to ensure that children's right to education is met. I can see 3 hands. Let me start with Mercy Mutuku. Mercy, you have been away for too long. Welcome back. Yes, Mercy. Mercy, unmute. Mercy. Mercy is gone. 0788.
Introduction of the free primary education.
Introduction of the free primary education. Ogada.
Payment of national exams to the learners.
Yes.
Payment of national exams to the learners. For example, unapata KCPE, they're not paying KCPE. They're being paid for by the government.
Right. Akifuma.
Now, one, provision of free primary education and subsidized fee in secondary schools. We also have new construction of new schools using the CDF, and also improvement of school facilities using CDF, and also provision of CDF bursaries to students in Kenya. There is a program for feeding in ASAL areas, that is arid and semi-arid areas. Construction of boarding schools in regions that are prone to, in the nomad areas, where people migrate from one place to another. So they have constructed boarding schools to cater for learners for those and pastoral communities.
Right. Thank you. Goretti?
I think they can also provide teaching and learning resources for these learners in schools. Then, for those with special needs, they provide them with assistive and supportive devices.
Assistive and supportive devices. Check if your hand is up. 0788 and correcting. Right. 0788.
What I can
Pascal, we are
add,
also advocating
Pascal.
for 100%
Yes, Mr. Felix,
transition.
is somebody responding? Maybe 0788, then Mr. Felix will respond. Madam, carry on.
Okay, I was saying maybe they're also advocating for the 100% transition as per now. Everybody should go to school, whether you have passed or failed, 100% transition.
Right. Mr. Felix?
Yeah, you've given beautiful answers, all of you. But some of us were giving just as said, you see, we have 10 marks. You're expected to give 5. Kindly, jaribu explain hiyo point yenye unapeana. Tafadhali, hata kama ni 3-4 lines. Because all the answers you've given, they are very correct answers. And you've given more than 5. That is the observation I've made.
Thank you very much.
Sir,
Yes, Mr. Choka.
all of us, please.
I have this point. I don't know if I'm correct. We have the provision for vocational training, whereby for those learners who are not in a position to continue the higher education, they can be taken to vocational training to improve on their skills, which can help them to live or to support them to stand on their own in the society.
Okay, the vocational training,
It is true,
especially
Pascal.
for those who may be having, yes.
He's right.
Yeah, he's very right. Those ones with special needs. Yeah, those ones who can't go the 8-4-4, all the formal way. He's very right.
Yeah, and even through vocational training, we are having people who can make garments for Kenya. That's why we have been hearing the president advocating for Buy Kenya, Build Kenya.
Yeah, and I remember in our church, we have 2 prayer boxes made out of beads. These ones were made by, people with disabilities. And remember the Jacaranda School. So in Jacaranda School, there is a sheltered workshop where these people work alongside their peers without disabilities. So, and they were bought expensively by the church. So remember in module number 6, management of special needs education, we talk about the sheltered workshops where these people work and they are given protection. You know, they work alongside their peers without disabilities, and at the end of the month, they also get their due payments. So they are able to fend for themselves, and even those they are encouraged to have their own families. They're also able to take care of their next of kin in that order. Let's look at the last bit of question 2. That is question 2C. Sorry, 2B. Now explain how toys can be modified to be used by learners with cerebral palsy. Explain how toys can be modified to be used by learners with cerebral palsy. Somebody? Yes, Mercy Mutuku, you have been away for long.
Yes, Pascal, how are you?
I'm good.
I'm also
Carry on,
good.
Mercy.
Last time I was not in a position to answer. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Hello, Pascal. Yeah.
We are getting you clearly.
I'm not clear.
We are getting you well.
Okay, let me answer that question. You should ensure that the what? Those toys, they are safe for the learners with cerebral palsy by ensuring that you have removed the sharp edges which may harm them as they manipulate them.
Removing the sharp edges, which may
Pascal,
harm. Yes.
what if you make toys that are light for them to be able to handle the toys? Because I tend to believe some of these learners with cerebral palsy, maybe their fine motor is not in position to hold or handle heavy toys.
Yes, you can modify them to be very light for easy handling and even carrying. Marion?
Then can we also add holders?
Yeah, maybe I'd also even say, even if they are light, they should at least be firm, because as Akifuma has said, their fine motor are not fully developed. So they should be firm so that even if they drop them, they don't break.
I wanted to add pointed durability, but mbona firm iko hapo? Si durability inamaanisha if they can, hata hizo toys zikianguka, they cannot break easily. Ni hiyo pointed durability.
What of relevance?
The durability.
The age of the learner.
Okay, they are supposed to be relevant to the age, but remember the question is asking on how they can be modified to be used by learners with the cerebral.
Pascal.
Yes.
We can add holders so that zile ambazo tunaweza wawekea mahali penye wanaweza guza na holders also can apply.
Yeah, we can have the holders. James?
Yeah, thank you. I have an opinion that we are giving points regarding the qualities of the toys, as opposed to addressing the question, which is talking about modification of the toys for learners with cerebral palsy. Because we are trying to have toys that can also assist in their motor development, especially because they have they don't have well-formed motor skills. So we should look at this question from that angle. But when we talk about durability and firmness, I think that is more of a quality than modification.
Right. I've seen Sylvia. I've seen your text. That is build up handles toys so as the learner can be able to grasp them independently when handling.
Pascal.
Yeah, Kifuma.
Allow me to react on what Mwalimu has just raised. When you say, I raised a point about making them light. No, some toys are heavy, such that learners who have cerebral palsy cannot handle them, depending on the severity of the condition. So when you reduce the weight, as much as you are reducing the weight for them to be light, for them to handle, you're also supposed to consider how durable is that toy? Because you might reduce the weight to an extent that when it drops down, then it is done. There's no more toy. That's why Madam raised that concern about it should be firm or durable as much as you have reduced the weight. Then you can also add the handles or let's say the holders, such that those learners maybe that are shaking can be able to handle them and avoid maybe the toys from maybe skidding away ama tutasemaje, kuteleza kwa mkono. So you can also do that just to modify. You can also look at the okay, mwingine ataongezea.
Thank you, Akifuma. It should be made of local available materials so that to make them familiar rather than making it firm, a material which will make him or her lose interest because he or she is not familiar with. So 0788 is saying they should be made of locally available materials that the learner may also be familiar with. Amos.
Okay, Pascal.
Yes.
You know that these learners have a problem in balancing and muscle control. So you can make these toys to be large so that they can sit on to maintain their balance while they are playing with other toys.
I've got Pascal, you. Yes. Before Mr. Felix react, what if I can also say that you can also provide stands for these toys so that those learners with the maybe who cannot handle can be able to see. You can just place the toy in front of that learner on a stand so that they can also be able to use their visual.
But the
education aspect, yes. Salome?
In fact, our question is this. Our question is how we can modify, these toys can be modified. Already you have these toys. How can they be modified for them to be used by these learners with the cerebral palsy? I agree with that. I agree with that. That teacher who said, maybe if it's something to sit on, you must make it large for it to accommodate this learner. The asianguke issue of balance. Now, already, what I'm insisting on is this. Already you have these toys, or you have these toys in mind, which these learners are going to use. How are you going to make it? How are you going to make it suitable for this learner to use with the cerebral palsy? We have the building blocks. Others call them the mega blocks. How are you going to modify these building blocks so that this learner is going to use it? The other one is the painting set. Maybe they are doing the painting. Now the brush, how is this brush is it going to be very tiny? Is it going to be very, how are you going to modify this brush for it to be used by this learner? We have, which other toys these even the normal learner can use? We have this fold and go. There is this this equipment which the children are using, and as I fold him peleka chini, alafu imrudisha juu iko na springs. How are you going to make it so that ikue comfortable for this learner to use it? Now that's the question. Tusifikirie, tusiende mbali sana, tufikirie the normal the toys these learners are using. How are you going to make it usable for this learner? Ikue ndiye aitumie. Nimetoa some lights to this question.
Yes.
Yes.
So Mr. Felix, will I be right nikisema some toys unaweza funga kamba alafu waweke kwa shingo?
Shingo gani my friend? Inyonge huyo mtoto.
Kwa mfano maybe nataka kufunza vitu kama shape. Nikichukua nifunge toy kwa kamba alafu nimfungie kwa shimbo, ndio in case kama anatembea can be able to recall that this maybe a rectangle kila mara. Is it wrong?
No, it's very wrong.
Okay.
You hang the shape.
When you talk of kumhangia kwa shingo, it's very wrong.
Darasa. Una hang darasani.
No, tuko na blocks,
Yes.
Tuko na blocks. I wish I was in Kise. We have those I think you are told to make. Ninyi mliambiwa mtengeneze. At times you'll be expected to kutengeneza a learning material. So I'll show you. I think nitabeba kesho. Kesho mko na class? Yeah?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll carry it so that niwaonyeshe. Kuna blocks, tuko na a block unaweza tengeneza shapes kama 4 hivi, rectangular, triangular, oval and what not. Sasa hiyo ya kumwekea kwa shingo ndio I don't agree with it.
Teacher.
Yes.
What of in case of a play material like the ball, you enlarge it or you make it to be of reasonable size?
That one is okay. We agree with it.
Okay, asante. Na writing material kama penseli unaitengeneza kubwa. Enye anaweza hold na mkosi kubwa sana. Enye anaweza hold vizuri kwa mkono.
Iko na grip, mahali anaweza shika vizuri. That is very correct.
Okay, asante.
Kama plastic nishike kabisa ikuwe nono. Isn't it? Yes.
Yeah. Asante.
Munikubalia niende.
Okay, Mwalimu, thank you very much. We are also just finishing. Thank you very much. Sorry, Mutuku Masi, be the last one to respond before we wind up.
Pascal?
Yes.
What if those toys, there are toys that you can shake for them to produce sound? What if you fix buttons instead of shaking, they just press button and it produces sound? I think that is a modification that they can make.
Very true. You maybe put on the, like, you remember on the, we are having some toys that are meant to produce sound, and even they get maybe the children have played until now they can't produce the sound anymore. You show now the button so that now when you shake it, it produces sound. That is very true.
Before I go, Pascal, yes. I'm not disputing what Madam has said.
Yes.
This learner who was a CP, tunataka akuwe na fine and gross motor, isn't it? Sasa yes. Akifinya hivyo atakuwa na improve kweli kushika na kufanya nini?
Yes, fine motor, use of fingers wakati ana press.
Mr. Felix. Mr. Felix.
Go ahead.
Mr. Felix.
Now, kama button yawezekani, is it possible you can hang that toy somewhere na unafunga uzi, sasa huyu mtu anavuta tu uzi na hiyo ina shake yenyewe?
Hatujakataa kenye Mtuku amesema. We were just thinking loud.
Mr. Felix.
Yes.
In that question, you have to know this learner with cerebral palsy. Why they choose a learner with cerebral palsy? You know, this learner has a problem in in maybe balancing and motor. So the moment you press this button, I don't think it will much give the learner that voice of activating the motor and balancing. It could be good if the learner would shake, of which the learner will be using is fine motor skills and the large and the gross motor skills.
Gross motor skills, yes.
Yeah.
Pascal, the question that learner must develop this. Kwani tu imeuliza tu how do you modify it? Haijasema kwa suit ku develop fine motor or gross motor. The question is okay.
But Mercy, now when it comes to answering the question, those are the areas that will build your answers. Class, I want to say that
hello.
I want to say that the revision was good, and up to this point, Samuel Shauri, your hand is up, though I wanted Mercy to be the last one. Maybe you can contribute and then you pray.
Thank you. Let me add something on this. We are talking about adjusting the toys. So I was thinking about, because this learners
modifying.
Hello?
Yeah, we are talking about modifying, not adjusting.
Okay, under modification, we can talk about adding rubbers at the bottom of these toys to prevent them from sliding. Hiyo inaweza kuwasaidia pia kwa stability, and then putting in adjustable heights ili iweze kusaidia according to the different heights of the learners. Hiyo inaweza kuwa adjusted that the toy. So I had those two points ya kuadjust height na kuweka raba ili isiwe inateleza, isikuwe slippery for the learners. Those are the two. Thank you.
You can pray now.
Wacha tuombe. Baba yetu uliye mbinguni, tunakushukuru kwa sababu ya kuwa nasi. Umetuongoza tulipoanza session hii na tumeweza kufika tamati. Tunapoendelea kujiandaa kwa ajili ya mtihani wetu ambao unaelekea mwezi wa 7. Utuongoze tukaweze kufaulu. Tunapoenda kujipumzisha katika vitanda vyetu siku wa leo, uwe nasi, utulinde. Tukapoamka asubuhi, tukumbushe pia kukurejeshea sifa na shukrani. Kwa Yesu tunaomba na kuamini. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Good night.